is Eddie C, and welcome to my Positive Podcast. I'll bring you positive stories of people from all walks of life, because everyone has a story to tell. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to MPP, my Positive Podcast. I'm your host, Eddie C. Now, I know a lot of you have been wondering, where have all the shows been? It has been quite a while since I posted my shows, and they haven't been as often as in the past. But there are going to be some changes in the future with a slightly different concept, and you'll hear more about that as time goes. I've got three wonderful guests that I've actually known each of them for a long time. My first guest is a lady that I've worked with for many years as a session singer together with me and Soul Sister, and she does a lot of other projects as a solo vocalist, but also as a vocal coach for different Belgium television shows. My second guest is a lady that I worked with in the jazz scene many years ago together with her husband, and she's a very spiritual-minded person who is into natural medicines and supplements. And my third guest is a guy I know from out Germany who's a very old friend as well. We've worked on projects together, written songs together, and performed together. And he does a lot of stuff with children, and he's very busy with the future of the economy and the social-minded world we're living in. So if you're curious to hear about their stories, tune in and stay positive. My name is Eddie C, and you're listening to my Positive Podcast. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my next guest and I, we go like really way back. I knew her when she was actually just finishing off the conservatory at the time as a young talented singer, and she's bloomed out to be not only a fantastic vocalist as a solo artist, but also a fantastic vocal coach, and is behind the scenes of a lot of different TV shows here in Europe, especially in Belgium. Please welcome my dear friend and colleague, Miss, I always refer to her as my sister from another mister, Miss Ibernice MacBean. How you doing there?
Yes, I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for having me, Eddie.
Yeah, it's great to see you. Of course, we see each other quite often with our gigs together that we do, which is always a lot of fun.
Absolutely,
and have so much fun with you on stage with Soul Sister.
Yeah.
So listen, why don't you tell my audience a little bit about your background, your roots, and everything, so they can be a little bit up to date about who you are.
Yes. Well, like you just said, I'm Ibernice MacBean, and I was born in Rotterdam, and my parents are from Suriname. So I'm also from Suriname, only born in Holland. And yeah, I've been living in a little village now for a couple of years, but I've been living in Rotterdam for a long time and studied also in Rotterdam. Graduated quite some time ago. Won't tell you when. Yeah, you know.
I know.
Because we go way back. And so, yes. and I've been singing and teaching since I graduated from the conservatory. I love teaching and I love being on stage. I've been singing with Paul Michiels, who's the one of the lead singers of Soul Sister for already 22 years. And of course, we've been singing now with Soul Sister for a couple of years. You've been there always with Soul Sister.
I've been there for like 40 years.
Yeah. So and I joined you guys I think 5 or 6 years ago. So
right.
And it's always a blast and a party.
It's always a party.
Great music and great people, great team.
Right. Absolutely. One of the most pleasurable things I've done in my career, I must admit, It's always a pleasure, and we have so much fun on
Yeah.
stage, and off stage as
Yeah,
well as a group.
absolutely.
It's just fun. You know, of course, you're busy at the moment. You're doing not only some solo projects as a guest singer with sometimes with a big band. You're also working as a very fantastic vocal coach, and I know I experienced that when I was on a voice senior myself, working with you, and I picked up so many nice little tips and tricks
Yeah.
from you. So it was a pleasure doing that. That was one of the nicest things about doing the show. In fact, at the end of the day, I really mean that, and
Oh,
because of
that's so
you,
sweet.
I did the
Yeah.
show because you had asked
Yeah.
me, and I said no at first, and then later on I decided, well, okay, why not give it a shot? Because the Belgian public didn't know me as a vocalist at that time, and
Absolutely.
so I'm very grateful to you for that. And
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and you were one of the finalists.
yes, I was one of the finalists.
Yeah.
Yes, so
Yeah. So
but you're outside of, let's say, being a vocal coach and teacher. I know in doing your solo projects, you've always been active as a coach. You have your own special way of teaching your students. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because you kind of like make your programs fit to whoever you're working with.
yeah, absolutely. Well, I teach at the Conservatory of Ghent. I'm gonna start my 10th year, so it's already been 10 years this year. So next week we start, and I also teach at Codarts in Rotterdam. And
Ghent is, for my listeners, Ghent is in Belgium,
yeah,
and Rotterdam is in the
Holland.
Netherlands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Netherlands. And of course, then you work with people who are absolutely able to sing, because of course they have to do an audition before they can start the education. And of course, you look. I look at the person in front of me, and I try to find a way to help them develop the voice at their best in the years that they're with us. And I try to do that in a very personal way, but also different ways, because I think everybody needs different ways to get somewhere, to get better. And even sometimes one day can be different from the other day, because with the voice, of course, it's so personal because it's part of our body. And also mentally, of course, it's very important. Mentally, it's important that you're in a good shape, or on the right track, but also physically and condition wise. All these parameters are, I think, important to when you develop a voice. So that's what I look at, and sometimes
Right, absolutely.
yeah, you need to be you have to take your time and give space, and sometimes you also have to be like, come on, we need to go a little faster, or so you look at the person and try to help as best as I can.
Yeah, and you do that quite well. I really admit that I love watching how you've. I remember when I was doing the show, you made everybody feel in their comfort zone, and you never pushed anyone to do more than you didn't think that they could do, and that's a very good quality of a good teacher. It's a very good quality.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's so nice to hear, because as a teacher, of course, you don't look at yourself, but of course, I try to be aware, and I try to do the best I can, and try to look at different angles, and envision what it is for the other person. But at the same times, of course, sometimes you have to push, or sometimes you have to slow down, or and help or not help. So
A band coach myself, I can relate to what you're talking about. So, it was really nice to interact with you and give you the space to teach me some new stuff as well. And I really appreciate that. That was really nice. It was really nice,
yeah.
and I actually, some of your tricks of the trades I have actually incorporated in my own teachings in certain cases. So I'm only passing on the good qualities.
Yeah, I feel privileged. I feel privileged that you, yeah, that you did that. Great.
Yeah. Are there any special projects that you're going to do now? Because I
Yeah.
know we recently just finished a big tour with Soul Sister, and they're going to continue with the small combination, which is just the Pauling
Yeah.
and keyboards and drums. So, are there any special projects that you're going to be doing in this period that we're not playing?
Yeah, at this moment, not a lot of singing because I'm doing a lot of TV work, and now we're actually in the middle of the third season of The Masked Singer, so it's very busy with that. And also, I just finished doing recording the second season of I Can See Your Voice, and we
All
just
right.
finished that in August. So that was also quite busy. And
Mhm.
The Voice is going into the last part of the eighth season, The Voice from Vlaanderen.
Mhm.
So that's like the Voice in Belgium.
Mhm.
For the non-Belgians out there,
Yeah.
we picked that up at the end of November because I think it's going to be on TV from somewhere in September.
Mhm.
So it's quite busy, you know. It's yeah. I sort of course I'm a singer, I'm a vocal coach, and because of this great TV stuff that I'm able to do, I'm also yeah. That's also another path I can, yeah. I can walk, and that's really great. Yeah.
It must be also sometimes difficult for you doing those shows because of course you're contracted to keep a lot of secrets because you're not allowed to tell anybody
Absolutely.
who everybody who's participating. You already know what's going to
Yeah.
happen before it happens in certain cases. And so that must be quite a challenge at times for you. Or is it something that you've gotten used to over the years and it's like brushing your teeth? It's just a simple routine.
No, no, it's not a simple routine, but of course it is a routine if you do a show for 8 seasons or now with the Masked Singer the third season. Of course you're with the same team and you're sort of you know each other so well, so you know everybody knows it's his or her place and what to do, and we can bend, and we can go with the flow, and we can and so that's great. At the same time, of course, every season is a new season, and I am yeah, I'm bound. Actually, that's in my contract. I cannot say anything because there are some hefty fines.
Yeah, remember you telling me the fines
Yeah,
can be
yeah.
very costly.
Yeah, yeah, and of course I can understand because that's a lot of money, of course,
Invested,
that
sure.
involves the show to make such a big production.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I can absolutely understand, but of course you don't even need a contract because if you're involved in the team and in the
Sure.
production, you want to do the best you can, and that's
And
of course
it's a trust factor, I mean,
also
it's like
yeah,
the expression loose lips sink ships. You don't want to do
yeah,
any
that's a
ship
good one.
sinking. you
No,
know,
absolutely not.
in
No,
that.
it's not
Well,
good for anyone. So
I know you've passed on your musical roots to your daughter.
yeah.
And she's turning out to be quite a very talented young vocalist as well. And I'm sure that are there any plans to do something maybe together with your daughter, recording wise or anything?
Oh, wow, Eddie. That's such a great idea. Never thought of
Yeah,
that.
I can see something like that
But
happening with
maybe,
the mother and daughter
yeah.
doing
Oh, that's
a special song
nice.
together. I could see that happening. So
Yeah. Well, thanks for the tip.
we should
Yeah.
talk about that sometime. Maybe do a little production
Yeah.
around that. That could be something interesting to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe very interesting. Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
I
Great.
have a good song
Yeah.
for you then if you decide to do something like that.
Okay. Well,
Because actually I recorded a song many years ago with my mom. And the
nice.
lyrics also can portray to what you and your daughter. So
Okay.
we'll talk about that
We'll talk about it after the show.
outside
Yeah.
the show.
Great.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
I've got one more question for you, which is, of
Yeah.
course, the theme of this particular episode, and it's about vitality. And I would
Mhm.
like to ask you, what does vitality not only mean to you, but for you?
Yeah. And if you mean by vitality, if I translate it in Dutch, how you physically, but I think also mentally
And
are
spiritually. And
and
spiritually.
spiritually,
Yeah.
yeah. As a person, of course, it's so important, and it's part of who we are. Eh? So I think it's the different again the different parameters, because physically I think as especially because now I'm not the youngest anymore, I'm also not old, but I'm also not the
You
youngest.
you you haven't changed a bit in all the years I've known
Well,
you.
thank you so much, but I do feel it in my body, when I was 25 I could skip 2 nights and everything would be fine, but I cannot do that anymore. So I know that sleep is very important, but also for me going to the gym, actually, because it gives me so much energy, and if I don't go to the gym for a few days I really feel bad. So
Yeah,
I need that.
yeah, I'll never forget. We were doing a gig with Soul Sister, and
Yeah,
your
I
daughter
think in
was
the
actually,
AB in
yeah,
Brussels.
in Brussels. And I'll never forget. I go back to the dressing room, and I looked at your daughter. She says, "Don't ask."
Yeah,
You
because
were
I was
busy.
doing my fitness
You were doing your fitness exercise.
exercises.
It was fantastic,
Yeah,
fantastic,
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, absolutely. But also mentally, I lost my dad almost a year ago, and that really was very heavy to experience that. I never lost anyone before so close,
Hmm.
and so I know that that's also for me part of vitality, that because
Absolutely.
that's such a big part of who I am now, that I lost him, and that it was not such a nice time, because he was sick.
That
It was
was fun.
short.
He was a very, very nice guy. I had the pleasure of meeting him, I think
Yeah,
twice actually,
yeah,
because your parents came to a couple of the gigs, if
absolutely.
I remember. And very nice guy, very
Yeah.
relaxed, laid back. So I can understand he's been a big inspiration to you.
Absolutely, yeah, and that of course you also with music, sometimes when I hear a song, then it hits me, because then I have to think about my dad, so that's also part of healing and growing, and getting back to
Hmm.
that, yeah, vitality that you need, I think, as a person to keep going.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. So if you were to sum it all up in one little sentence, what would you say in a very short sentence what it means for you?
I think what it means is maybe it's a big word, but survival. To just keep going, and trying to stay strong and happy, and also to make sure that I also can mean something to people and to the world, and that means that I have to stay vital, physically, but mentally, spiritually.
All right. Well, on those words, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. And I really appreciate you taking the time out in your busy schedule.
Yeah, thank you so much, Eddie.
And always wishing you a lot of love and a lot of vitality the coming time with you and your loved ones.
Yeah, thank you so much, Eddie. Also
All
for you.
all
Thanks.
right. Thank you so much. Huh?
Bye
Okay.
bye.
All right. Bye bye. This is My Positive Podcast with Eddie C. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my next guest is a very lovely friend of mine. We go way back from the time when I met her at the time when she used to travel at that time with another friend of mine that was a musician, and they were a couple at the time. And she's very spiritual minded, likes to travel, likes to be part of the whole universal movement in a spiritual way. Please welcome my next guest, Miss Terry Kruller from Nassau, Dietz. How are you doing, my dear?
Well, thank you very much, Eddie, for this nice introduction. And no, I'm doing great, as always, actually. No, I'm doing fine. Thank you. Thank you. It's very nice to be here
Well,
with you.
Well, thank you. Can you tell my public a little bit about you? I mean, I know a lot about you from, we go back so many years, but I'm sure my public would like to know a little bit about your background, your roots, and what you're actually, doing now at the moment,
Okay, of course. Well, I grew up in the Netherlands and with a very warm, nice family, very progressive, and everything was possible. So I started to study advertising and public relations, which I really liked. And I started working rather early. So I did a lot of organizing events and public relations. And I had a great life, really a great life. I had all my clients took me every day to lunch. those were the days, my friend. And then I was a little younger than I'm now. But beside that, I don't believe in age. It's just a number. And later on, because I was always interested in nutrition, and later on I started to do the study orthomolecular therapist, and which I still do. So I know a lot of about healthy food, about vitamins, and I still advise people, and I try to live as healthy as possible. Although I drink my wine every day. And I think that's okay. People are allowed to drink wine because it gives joy as well. And it's made from grapes, so it's it's healthy as well. And when you mentioned him already, then in my mid-30s, I met my ex-husband, and he's a musician. And sometimes I say he was a musician, but he is still a musician and he's still alive. And at that time, I started organizing concerts, and I started a jazz club, which I had for about, 25 years. And it gave me so much joy and so much pleasure. And then at the beginning of the crisis, I lost a lot of my work, including my concerts, which still hurts nowadays. And it's coming back a little bit, but okay. So in the meantime, I worked with the greatest and loveliest people, and you are amongst them, of course. We did work a lot together.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did. And I even had I still have my own CD label and distribution and stuff like that. And that's what I actually did. And the last 3 years almost, I live in Germany. Just over across the border, and I live here because it's cheaper. The houses are cheaper, but due to and I started a better breakfast over here, and that's very successful. But due to all the regulations and the whole situation we're in now, I just started to think about selling the place, and I did, and I just sold it. And the whole idea is to go to the southern part of Spain to live more self-sufficient, and that's something which spiritually suits me. So more land, own vegetables, own fruits, and maybe own wine, own winemaking. And that's my that's what I did. And now shall I go on and tell you what I'm doing now? Actually,
Absolutely.
Okay, well, still advise people in living a healthy life and living a nice life. I do Reiki, I give massages and stuff like that, Tantra as well. And that's all from the heart. I try to live from the heart. But then we thought, well, we should do something now because the world is a little cuckoo at the moment, as we all know. And we met Professor Bob de Wit, and he wrote a book, and how to change the world in a better mode. And he's actually trying to build a new citizen society with 9 keys. And keys, you must think about nutrition, own energy, health, education, but in a completely different way.
Right.
And we're trying to, that's real great. And we're trying to promote buying locally, producing locally. So people are going a little bit back to the way it was, not those big industrial companies, but smaller. And we try to give the people more a voice in what they're doing. And so that's what I'm doing at the moment. I do it as a volunteer. Everybody does it as a volunteer nowadays. Mm-hmm. And I coordinate the whole food group. And and I do the marketing for them as well. So that's
fantastic. So great, sort of a community farming industry together, basically. Everyone has a specialty in what they're doing, and that's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, and it's even more than farming. We're trying to help the farmers as well and the small businesses, but it's as well own education. Because the children, we were taught all those practical stuff, but we were never taught anything about feelings or your own energy. And so we have to change the education and health, because health is now going to the hospital and getting medicines. But as you know, I am different. I think it's better to prepare yourself not to take any medicines, because you can do it with nutrition, vitamins and stuff like that. So that's what we're working on. Society 4.org. 4.0, that's what it's called.
That I will post that in the information when people read it. So.
Yeah, it's very nice company. Yeah, very nice organization.
And so,
okay.
What's some of the other projects? Because I know you were always outside of your community active project, and you mentioned about now maybe moving to Spain. Are you planning on continuing the same concept there? Or are you going to be corresponding back and forth between both countries?
The thing I do for Society 4.0, that's what will be keep doing, because we do it by Zoom, and we can do it by the internet, so that doesn't matter. But once when I'm settled down beside my own vegetables, I want to start a spiritual center with massage, with Reiki, and with yoga, and with nutrition and workshops. So that's what I want to do over there. And I want to do it with with some people together. So yesterday I spoke with people, and they are like-minded, and we want to buy a nice plot together with 3 or 4 couples, and then we can share the land, share the food. And we share that spiritual center as well. So because one is a medium and the other one gives massages, just like I do. So we can invite people, tourists over there, and they can have a really relaxing week. And that's actually the idea. And the bed and breakfast I still have here in Germany. I want to start in Spain as well. That's what I want to do. And then last week I thought, what gave me always the best joy in my life? And then I thought, that was music. It's still my love. It's my first and my last love. And I thought about it, and then I thought, if we have that center, that's a physical place. Why not organize twice a month concerts? Invite local musicians, but invite people from Belgium and from the Netherlands as well over there to come and play. So that's what I'm intending to do as well.
Wonderful initiative. Thanks for the invitation.
Yes, it stands. You have to come.
Well, listen, I've got one more question, which is our theme question for this particular episode. And it's about vitality. And I'd like to know, what does vitality not only mean to you, but for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Well, vitality for me, it's being vital. That's very logical, but it's being interested, being amazed, because so many things happen, and I think if you are amazed, every day you have something new. Believing in small wonders. This morning I was walking my dogs in the forest here, and then I saw the light beams coming through the trees, and I thought, this is so nice. And then I always see on my path white feathers, so there's always an angel on my path. Those small wonders in life keeps me. That's what makes me tick. Learning every day something new. Enjoying life. It's very, very important, and for me is. Staying forever young, and young from the heart. That's what I think that belongs to me. That's who I am. And one last thing I think it's important is letting go. So Deepak Chopra is one of my examples, and he always says, you want to be a prisoner of the past or a pioneer of the future. And the last,
Wise
I want
words.
to be. Yeah.
Those are quite wise words. Well, on those words, I want to thank you for coming on the show and sharing a bit about yourself. And I wish you all the love and all the best with all your new adventures you're going to be doing, and success when you do make that move to Spain. And definitely we'll see each other sometime in the near future.
Definitely. Yeah, you better come over. Thanks. It was very nice talking to you. And I hope your audience likes my story. Okay.
I'm sure they will. And they'll be very inspired as well. Thank you so much. All righty. Okay. Bye-bye. This is MPP, and I'm Eddie C. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my next guest is an old friend of mine. He's actually from Germany, and we played together many years ago on a special project called Spirit of My Soul, among a few other projects. He's a fantastic musician and a great family guy, and just a good person to know altogether. I've grown to become like a distant member of their family over the years. Please welcome my next guest, Mr. Reinhard Horn. How are you doing, buddy? It's been such a long time.
Eddie, I'm so happy to meet you again. You're my brother from another mother.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm very fine. I'm working. I'm working every time to do new music for children and for people. It's a hard work in the moment. You know. It's for the artists. It's not a good time.
No, we have gone through some struggles in the last few years. Yeah. Well, listen, can you tell I know a lot about you, but can you tell my public a little bit about your background? You know, where you're originally from? We know Germany, but what part and how you got started in music and everything.
Yeah. I'm living in Lippstadt. It's a beautiful little town in Westphalia, near to Dortmund. It's called the Venedig from Westphalia because we have a lot of rivers and water in the town, and it's really nice to be here. I'm married with Ute. You know Ute?
Yes, very lovely lady.
I have two children, Simon and Rebecca. Both are doing music.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They choose the same way.
Okay. Okay.
Wow. And I have 4 grandchildren.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really marvelous present you get in your life if you will be a grandfather or grandmother. It's really, really good. I've worked for a long time at school as a teacher for music and religion, about 20 years. And I make music. I'm on stage since 50 years. Yeah. You look, I've started very early.
Well, that makes 2 of us, my friend. That makes 2 of us.
50 years, and in the first part of my music career, I have a band. Mm-hmm. You told about the project Spirit of My Soul. Mm-hmm. We have done a lot of music, of pop music with Christian lyrics. That was our passion to do. And we toured all over the world, from South America, in the States, in Europe, and in Russia. We have been, and to make music for children. Mm-hmm. When my own children grew up, mm-hmm. and we do a lot of music in our house. And I feel very passionate to do music for the children. That's my way in the last 30 years. About right. I've composed and produced and published about 2,300 songs.
Well, that's quite a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot, a lot of songs, a lot of work, a lot of musicals and things like that. The project Spirit of My Soul was really, really, really a wonderful project we have done in many churches, and I'm a little bit proud because our concept is now very common in Germany, in churches, to do lights and to do music in this church rooms, and we were the first.
We're the pioneers. Yeah, I remember. It was a very special. It was a very special show because it gave us sort of a surround sound, but at the same time, the images took different shapes in the church because of the old style that the churches were, and so. It had a very special atmosphere.
It was music for the soul. Huh?
Absolutely.
Really, yeah. The people loved it, and when I get in contact to those, they smile and say it was a wonderful time to be in the church and to listen to your music.
Yeah. Well, I know my mom she still, whenever we talk about it, she says that was one of the best things she ever saw. When she came over to visit me in Europe some years ago, and I remember she still talks about it now, and she's almost 90, so
90. Oh, great.
So great. She's doing quite well, and but she always appreciated that show. That's very special for her.
My claim. Sorry, my claim for my work with children. Maybe it's interesting is that good songs and good stories are soul food for children. That's my claim, and that's my passion to do, because I'm very convinced that children needs music.
Absolutely,
they need good songs. They need good stories for their life.
Absolutely, it's medicine for the soul, as you say.
Yeah. I'm ambassador of an organization in Germany. It's called Singende Krankenhäuser, singing hospitals.
All right.
So persons go in the hospital and sing with patients who stay very long in the hospital. For example, Alzheimer patients.
Great.
And if I have time and take part of a session, I really get goose. What's the name of goose?
Goosebumps.
Yeah, that's because I see the Alzheimer patients smiling and singing their old songs they have learned in their childhood.
Right.
I'm very amazed, and I asked the neurologists what's the reason for that, and they told me if you get Alzheimer, your brain is breaking down.
Right.
Everything's losing. To remember, to walk, to speak, everything is going to lose. The only part in the brain who still have the function is our musical memory.
Right.
That's the reason why they can remember the old songs.
Okay, so the functions like a blueprint that stays in the mind. Right. Absolutely.
And that's for me the reason why we have to sing with the children, to get the possibility to sing all in all the lives.
That's fantastic. It's beautiful, man. Yeah. So what are you doing now at the moment? I got a mail from you with a project that you're busy with. Can you tell us a bit more about that project?
Yeah. Oh, my new project is Earth Choir Kids, Our Voices for the Climate Change. That's my very, very big project in the moment. And there are 4 reasons I have started this project. And the 4 reasons are called Emilia, Benjamin, Johanna, and Moritz, my grandchildren.
Okay.
10 years, 8 years, 5 years, 2 years. And since they are on the planet Earth, the year 2100 has got a face for me. because they will stay on Earth in 2100. Maybe I not. Maybe I don't know.
We never know. We never know how things go, right? That's
and
true.
I asked myself, how would the life be in 2100 for my grandchildren? Will they have the same opportunities to live their dreams, to live their possibilities? And that's the reason why I make this project. We have composed 18 songs about the climate change with different subjects in the songs. And I have found a lot of international musicians to put us together to a great project family from Africa, from South America, from the States, from the small island Tuvalu. I don't know if you know Tuvalu.
No, not to be honest. I don't.
I don't. Before I don't know. It's northern part from New Zealand and eastern part from Australia.
Okay.
10,000 people are living there. It's very, very small. And the main problem of Tuvalu is the highest point of Tuvalu is 1 meter and 50 centimeter.
Oh wow!
So there's no place for the increasing of the ocean.
Right.
That's the main problem they have. But they are so lucky people, so young, full of vitality, and they love their island, and they will do everything to be there furthermore.
Okay. Wow.
And one of the greatest impressions I've got by the work together with an Inuit shaman from Greenland. He's called Angangak. I've trained very long to spell it perfect. Angangak. He's 74 years old, and he have got his job by his grandmother. She told him, "You have to melt the ice in the heart of man."
Beautiful statement.
Beautiful statement, yeah. And what's better to do this with music, with storytelling, and that by children and young people. And that's the message of Earth Choir Kids, to put all the kids together for a great, great choir to sing this song, to melt the ice in the heart of man. That's the way we are working.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I know you've always been very spiritual minded towards the public. Also, when we did the sessions of the Spirit of My Soul, I mean, those were very, very nice but intense times we spent composing the music and creating the whole concept for that. And I still today, it's a fantastic project. And when sometimes I'll put the music on for friends of mine, and they'll go, "Oh wow, where can I get that music?" I said, "Well, it is now available on Spotify." Yes, you know. Yeah. So anyway.
Let me tell one idea. We have a lot of scientists in our project, Earth Choir Kids, who are working with the subjects of climate change. And one person is Antje Boetius. She's a professor for the ocean. She had made the great expedition to the Arctic since 2 or 3 years ago. And I called her and say, "Antje, I like to do a song about the ocean. What should I say?" Oh, she told me, "You can tell about the waste in the ocean and things like that. But my idea is, please make a song of the beautifulness of the ocean."
Right.
And she said, "I have just new information about the Dark Sea. It's the darkest point on the earth." And she told me the creation.
Yeah, creation.
In the Dark Sea, they communicate. Okay. I say, how? Now they are singing. And she told me, as a scientist, this is a last puzzle for me to understand that what the world keeps together is music. The whales are singing, the dolphins are singing, the ducks is singing, the birds are singing, the animals are singing, the human beings are singing. The sand in the desert is singing.
Right.
And she said, we have to learn to understand that music keeps this world together.
Absolutely.
A scientist, not an artist or something like that.
Yeah.
Scientist.
Scientific facts, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. I've got one more question before we close out on our little short interview. But, my theme for this particular show is about vitality. And I would like to know, what does vitality not only mean to you, but for you?
Yeah, I think it's a main point, vitality. I've learned a lot from the children, from their vitality, to love this earth, to love their life. I have learned a lot from the people from Tuvalu. Besides all the problems, they look positive to the future. And there's a little story I like to tell you. When in the States, people who are ill gets to a shamane, the shamane has 3 questions.
Right.
Starting the healing session. The first question is, when was the last day you sing? Second question, when was the last day you dance? The third question, when has been the last day you laugh? So singing, dancing, laughing is health for our souls.
Those are beautiful words. And on that, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing a little bit about yourself. And I wish you all the love and luck in the world with your projects that you're doing, also to the family and your loved ones. And I'm sure we'll definitely be working together again soon in the future.
I hope so. Eddie, it was a pleasure for me. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, my friend. This is My Positive Podcast with Eddie C. Well, I hope you enjoyed my conversations with my 3 guests. I know I did. Now let's talk about vitality for a minute. According to the dictionary, it says, the state of being strong and active, energy, the power, giving continuous of life, present in all living things, the vitality of seeds. I like that part about the vitality of seeds, because the seeds are not just like a plant, but it's like planning what your future is going to be, how you're going to influence others, and how others are going to influence you because of their seeds. Now, vitality is also one of those things where, personally, when I wake up in the morning, whether it's raining or whether it's cloudy outside, it's that good feeling I have inside, because I'm able to face another day with a lot of joy and try to be a better person than I was the day before. Also, being able to share that joy with others that I maybe run into in the street or going shopping, or who I might talk to on the phone or text. It's all about putting out that good energy, and putting out good energy is going to create more good energy for you. And on those words, here's my quote. Vitality. Feeling young at heart with a happy soul. The willpower to still achieve and set new goals. Passion and prosperity. Looking forward with your past experiences, giving others of all ages and backgrounds that inspiration to follow their dreams, living each day alive and full of positive energy with the joy that vitality gives. Well, that's about it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. But before I go, I'd like to thank my three guests, Ibernice MacBean, Terry Kruller von Nassau, Dietz, and Reinhard for sharing their stories and their experiences around vitality. And remember, wake up energetic, wake up happy, and wake up with a lot of vitality. Until next time. You can find me on all platforms like Spotify, Android, and Apple. On Facebook, look for My Positive Podcast, and my website is mypositivepodcast.com. You can also contact me via my website or Facebook. A very special thanks to my technical producer, Iswan. This show is a production by Antwerp Podcast Service. My name is Eddie C., and this was MPP, My Positive Podcast. Tune in next time and stay positive.